Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're diving into one of the most useful lookups in Excel, the Vlookup. Whether you're managing sales data or an employee list, Vlookup can help. Using Vlookup can quickly find and match information from one table to another automatically. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how Vlookup works, what each part of the formula does, and how to avoid most common mistakes people make. Why not grab a drink, open up Excel, and let's get started. What we're looking at here is a list of products. Each product has its own details. For a lookup to work properly, this list needs one column to be unique, meaning each item should only appear once. If there are any duplicates in this column, the Vlookup will simply return the information for the first match it finds, which might not be correct. So having a column with a unique reference point is really important for accurate results. Our task is to use the Vlookup to match and extract the data into our blank table using the product code as our unique reference. We're going to start the formula in cell B30, which is where the lookup will return the first result. Let's type the equal sign. This lets Excel know we're going to start the formula. Next, start typing the word Vlookup. Once Excel recognises that we're typing a function name, the Excel IntelliSense kicks in. As you can see here, just typing the letters V, L and O is enough for Excel to understand that we want to start a Vlookup. So at this point I don't need to type the rest of the word, I can just press the tab key and it will activate the formula. This is a key point for the formula as Excel is telling me exactly all the information it requires to populate all four elements of the function. The first section of the formula is called the lookup value. The lookup value is a unique reference that we'll be searching for. In this instance, the product code is our lookup value. The second section of the formula is called the table array. The table array is a range of data where the formula should look to find out and match our lookup value, the product code. In this example, it's the range of data just above our blank table. Section 3, the column index number and how to work this out. By starting with the first column in your table, which needs to include the unique reference as this is where the match happens. The column index number is the count of columns running from left to right starting with the first column. Finally, it's the range lookup. Here Excel is asking for the type of match that you require. Either you need to type the word true or false. True is for an approximate match and false is for an exact match. I would always recommend when you're starting with lookups to always work with an exact lookup. Let's continue populating the formula in this cell. The first thing we're going to use is a cell reference as our lookup value. You have a few choices on how you enter your lookup value. I prefer to use a cell reference. Alternatively, this can be typed between two quotation marks. By selecting this cell reference, C27, that will use the cell contents, which is the product code. We just need to tap the comma key, which lets Excel know we've completed that part of the formula. The comma is always used this way. Then we're going to select the whole range of data by starting with this cell here, B3, and clicking and dragging our mouse all the way across and down to J23. We've selected the whole data range. Then to move on to the next step, we just press the comma key. Next, we have the column index. This decides which column's data is brought through once the lookup is matched. What I'd like to do here is bring the data from the product code column, which is in column B, which is also column 1. So all we need to do is add the number 1 here, followed by the comma key. Finally, type the word false for an exact match, and then you can close up with a bracket. We have now worked through our first lookup and we have our first cell populated. In order to fill the rest of the information we need in our product, we need to be able to copy the formula across all the headers. Before we do this, we want to keep this range of data in the same place. First, I'm going to show you what happens if you don't fix your data range. If you were just to copy this formula and move across one cell and paste it, look what happens. You can see the range has moved across by one column. If we copy this formula down into the cell below, we can see the range has moved again. Let's undo these steps using Ctrl and Z, and go back to the cell and start improving the formula. From here, we can press F2 to reactivate the cell and see the formula. We can also go up into the formula bar here. Now, the first thing we need to do is to absolute the first cell reference, so it doesn't move when the Vlookup is copied. This is easy to do. All we need to do is select here and press F4, which will put a dollar to either side of the letter in the first part of the formula. The second thing we need to do is to stop the range of data B3 to B23 moving to. All we need to do is highlight this section here and press F4 and it will lock the range all at once. The fastest way to finish off this formula is to add the numbers in the sequence above the columns, starting from the first column in the data range. I'm going to use a red font so it's easier to see, and then run them all the way to the end of the data range. Then I'm going to go back into the formula bar here at the top where we've typed the number 1 as the column reference in the third part of the formula, and we can now delete this out and swap it for this cell reference, which includes the number we need for that column. Selecting this number sequence at the top will allow the formula to take this and use this for the column index we need. If we press Ctrl and C to copy the formula, then we select the whole range. We can now press Ctrl and V to paste, and the formula has populated all the cells at once. By using the F2, we can see in a few of these cell references what's actually happening with the formula. What we can see now, adding the cell references across the top of the row, we can see the index column is moving one reference at a time. I thought I'd include a quick video just to show you the alternate option for the cell reference in your VLOOKUP. I feel that this takes a little bit longer, therefore I would avoid using this, plus that using a cell reference you can ensure your spelling's correct and it reduces your mistakes. I've also included a quick clip here just showing you some of the benefits of using the VLOOKUP. If you can actually mix using the VLOOKUP with a drop down list, you can actually improve the automation of something like this. And this example we've used both the range and the VLOOKUP in the same cell, but this works its best when it's on separate sheets. Say for example you've got your master data on one spreadsheet and you want your lookup somewhere else. This allows you to work across departments, or whether you're working through something like SharePoint or any online cloud service, this is a really good option to use. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Catch me in the next one.